Hey guys, this is Lisa from NYC Gal Alta. If you're watching on my YouTube channel, that is NYC Gal Pod. It's my new channel, and the numbers kind of stagnant. I think I have 12 subscribers when I know that there was originally 2,205 of you. So I'm missing like over 2,000 of you guys. Anyway, we are talking Real Housewives of Atlanta, the Sweet 16th reunion part 3. This is a wrap up of the season. Season 17 has been confirmed, and word on the curb is that they are scheduled to begin filming in a few weeks in August. Now, Kenya Moore, she hopped onto her YouTube channel. She talked a little bit about the whole Cynthia Bailey situation, and she also said that she was not invited back for season 17. But listen, what happened between her and the network, this is still fresh, this is still brand new, and even though the bridge isn't burnt and there is a path forward or a path back, it's not going to be right away. It's not going to be instant. She needs to wait a few years. You know, maybe she'll be back in like another 3 years or maybe even 5 years, but it's not something that is going to be right away. With the whole Cynthia Bailey situation, she alluded that like Cynthia basically betrayed her trust by saying something that she wasn't supposed to say, but we don't know what it was that she wasn't supposed to say. Now, we could allude and we could speculate, but it could be anything. It could be anything. She's dangling that kind of carrot in front of our faces, and I feel like if you weren't going to tell the public what it was that basically broke apart this friendship, then you should have just said, you know what, that's a question you need to ask Cynthia. She knows what she did, and leave it at that. But now you're alluding to something more than what it was. And like me, here's what I think it is. I think that when they were doing this whole investigation with Pistol Edie and with Kenya, I think that maybe Cynthia shared some emails or text messages that she shouldn't have. That maybe these were text messages between her and Kenya, and maybe Kenya was talking shit or telling her what she was going to do or whatever. And, you know, maybe she felt like Cynthia threw her under the bus because of something like that. Now, do I know that for a fact? No, I don't know that. But again, we're left to speculate because she's like dangling this carrot. Anyway, I don't even know why she brought that up, because it's like if you felt like you didn't need to address it, don't address it. It would have died down. I mean, Cynthia is a friend of. We don't even know if she's coming back next season. I don't think Cynthia is going to be coming back next season, because the word in Atlanta, the streets of Atlanta, is that there is 2 new housewives that are cast. I find it really amusing that these ladies have a lot to say, but, you know, at the reunion is like they have their tails tucked between their legs. Their keyboard warrior moment is their confessionals. That is legit. I mean, the reunion was kind of like, whatever. I don't even know why they made it 3 parts. They could have like squeezed it into like 2 parts if they really wanted to stretch it out. It could have been like a 2-part thing. It did not need to go a full 3 episode. Now, I watch it on Peacock because on Peacock it's uncensored and you get a little bit of extra. And to be honest with you, I feel like in a few years, Bravo as a network is not going to even be around anymore. That is like legit. Like, and if you watch any of my older videos, I talk about that. I've been editing a lot of my old videos and putting them up because like legit, I don't even feel like recording new content because I'm just like so depressed about my damn hair. I'm still feeling depressed about it. I feel so unattractive. I feel like this haircut makes me look so much older. And if you watch that video where I basically had like a little rant about what the hell happened to my hair, I said that I went there to the stylist because I was feeling like my hair was kind of flat. It didn't have a lot of volume and all this other stuff. And the woman at Walmart, yes, I know Walmart, she messed it up. But then I went to an actual stylist, and that stylist messed it up even further because what she did was she used this hated tool, the thinning shears. And a lot of people don't know how to use it correctly. They either don't use it correctly or they don't sharpen the tool. And I felt like she ripped off like half of my hair off my head. So now I'm like kind of like also depressed that I'm going bald. But yeah, so that's been my mood for like the last 2 weeks, and I've really not been wanting to film new content. But in editing my old content, seeing some of those videos, especially about RHONJ, it gives me such a flex because I'm just like, you know, for all the naysayers and all the haters who are like, oh, this girl doesn't know shit, she doesn't know what she's talking about, my tea was piping hot. My tea was so hot it was burning your tongue. And I know, if you guys follow me like that, one of my most favorite saying is that upload dates don't lie. Well, in this situation, if you're watching it on YouTube, then yes, upload dates do lie because then all the upload dates are like just in July. But you guys, my 2,205 followers out there in like the Google, you know, purgatory, wherever you guys are, limbo, you guys know that I dropped those tea first. I don't care who claimed it afterwards, but it came from me. And like, it gives me such a flex watching those old videos because it was like, yeah, keep talking shit because everything I said was right on the money. Anyway, back to Atlanta. So there wasn't really much to talk about. The two people who needed to be there wasn't there. I wanted Kenya to be there and I wanted Britt to be there. I wanted Britt to be there. I wanted Pistol Edie to be there because I wanted her to catch all the smoke. She was running that mouth of hers. She had a lot of explaining to do. There were so many shady things about her and she wasn't prepared for it. She was chicken shit. Talking big talk and then running away with her tail tucked between her legs. Chicken shit. She couldn't face the music and that is like BS. She can't handle it. You see, this is not the franchise for her or for anyone. Look, me, even if I was given that opportunity, I would not join a show like this because then I'm going to have people looking into my stuff. And I don't need people looking into my stuff like that. But she said it wasn't her, which, like, girl, it's not even you. What are you crying about? But, you know, there's still like stuff that I wouldn't want people going around looking up, you know. So like, if you don't want that smoke, don't join a show like this because you want to build your fan base. But you know what comes with fans? Haters. And besides from just haters, other cast members' fan base, they're going to come after you if they feel like you're treating their star like some certain way, you know, like social media in general, it's just a toxic environment. It's why on Twitter, I hop on to upload and then I bounce. Because if there's a place where you want to fight with strangers until like, I don't know, until like New Year's, Twitter is the place to be. You guys will be fighting back and forth for like the next 6 months. So I don't know what Britt Edie thought she was going to be doing coming onto the show. She was going up against like a veteran housewife. And even though Kenya isn't an OG, she is a veteran cast member of that show. So she already has a fan base. You coming in thinking you're going to be able to go after a veteran housewife of a franchise that you're a newbie of, and you're not going to catch any smoke. You're not going to catch any strays. Like, no. See, and that is like that egotistical, like kind of like a narcissistic tendency of hers because. And I'm not saying she's a narcissist, but look, we all have narcissistic tendencies. You can have narcissistic tendencies without being an actual narcissist. And we all have those tendencies. And that is something that is kind of like, you know, okay, that was like a little bit of an ego trip for you thinking that you could come in and do something like that as a newbie. Well, anyway, I felt like the breakout star of this season was Angela. I loved her. I'm a Fangela. If Angela doesn't come back for season 17, I am like not even invested in this franchise to be watching it like that. So I'll just be like, whatever, I'll watch something else. Charles came out. Let me tell you, when Charles came out, Phaedra was stuttering. See, this is why she can't win a case. Win a case, Phaedra. This is why she can't win a case. She was stuttering. You never want your lawyer, whoever is representing you in court, you never want that person to be stuttering, okay? Because they need to be able to lie with a straight face. They need to be able to look at the judge and at the jury box and convince that jury box that you are innocent of whatever the hell allegation it is. I mean, like, you need somebody like whoever Pete Diddy's legal team was, you need that. You need those lawyers because it was like, what? Phaedra, no. You might be a lawyer, but that just meant that you remembered enough to pass the bar exam. That'll make you a good lawyer. Anyway, she was stuttering. Charles came out and was like, I don't know you. How do you know me? I don't know you. She's like, she was stuttering. She couldn't answer. And with Shamia, it was a little bit the same, but with Shamia, she could at least talk. Phaedra couldn't even talk. She was legit stuttering. Shamia was like, well, I met you at somebody's wedding. And she's like, no. And Charles was like, no, I was at that wedding. That don't mean you met me. That don't mean we know each other like that. I don't know you. So, and then of course, Bravo editing department, they put up a photo of Shamia with Charles and her husband. But let me tell you something, okay? Charles Oakley is in the sports entertainment world. Charles Oakley is a renowned name, okay? So just because you have a picture with him doesn't mean he knows you. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if like whatever picture they have of him was just be like, oh my God, I'm such a fan of yours. Can I take a picture of you? He was probably like, sure, I love my fans. Because like legit, if the man knew you, he would have said, I know you. Anyway, they spilled a little bit tea about Wendy Williams. Like, what? Wendy Williams was inviting Charles Oakley over for dinner multiple times. Charles was like, oh, well, I didn't go because she has cats and I'm allergic. Okay. But I like it because you know what? People were talking so much shit about Angela and Charles's marriage, but Angela, she gives him side eye. She gives him snide remarks back. She was like, "Oh, okay. So now you're saying that it's the cat or whatever." Like like she doesn't hide it. I feel like they're so authentic. And let me tell you, I love it. I love it that such a big name sportsman like Charles Oakley that he could sit there in a show that is the demographics are gays and women. That's the demographic for Bravo, gays and women. But I love it that he, as this like very macho man, can sit there with his wife on this kind of show and say, yeah, we go to therapy. We go to therapy. They talked about, him getting kicked out of Madison Square Garden, how humiliating it was for him, and he was going through whatever it was he was going through. And he kind of like needed to kind of have like that ego trip, that ego boost. And that was when he was like stepping out on the relationship, on the marriage and whatever. But, they stuck it through. And I did appreciate him saying that, he's glad that Angela stuck it through. He said he's glad that Angela stuck by him and stuck it through. Angela talks about the passing of her mom. They didn't say how she passed. Was it a health reason or was it something else? Because her mom is bipolar and, with mental health, you never know. You never know. So she was emotional about that. But what she did say is that she's glad that she was able to film that scene with her mom and that now is going to live on forever. And that even though her mother didn't get to have a sit down with Charles and apologize face to face, that Charles saw that scene, heard her mother wanting to apologize and it's enough. So I love that. I love the relationship that Angela and Drew have. But you know what? Angela did hold her to task because in part 1 of the reunion, they talked about how she felt like Drew didn't have her back for her the way she had her back. And Drew said, I'm going through my shit, so I'm sorry you didn't feel that way, blah, 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 blah. But Angela, I feel like Angela is a loyal friend. And then Shamia was trying to do something because, the whole season, everybody's basically calling her Porsha's lapdog. So Shamia chimes in and says, well, why is it okay for you to be loyal to Drew? But, if I'm doing it, I'm a lapdog. And Angela's like, I can't sit on nobody's lap. I'm too big to sit on anybody's lap. And listen, she is beautiful. You guys can't make me hate Big Bird, LaToya Jackson, whatever, okay? She's Big Bird is my girl. Anyway, that was really it. I feel like there was nothing. They talk about Mama Morton and Miss Diane getting into it a little bit, and apparently it has to do with a daycare that Porsha's mom was running and operating, and I guess the building that it was running out of was going into foreclosure, and then Shamia's mom bought that building, and I'm like, whatever, but it's yeah. And look, the thing is, like, don't talk about that stuff because neither one of the mothers are on there to talk about it. So it's like, it's not like if we ever have like a Real Housewives of Atlanta senior citizen edition, then yes, but it's yeah. But yeah, that was it. What did you guys think of the season overall? Like I said, Angela is the breakout star. I'm a fangela. And I felt like Porsha, she kind of, when the season started, I was actually agreeing a lot with Shamia and I was like feeling Shamia's vibe. But as it started going forward, I felt like, okay, this is like a little bit weird. It's hard to bring real friends into something like this. It's hard to bring family. And it's hard to bring real friends into something like this. This is a show that is centered around drama and chaos. This will work if your friendship is, somewhat of an acquaintance where you guys only need to see each other for 3 months. And then, the rest of the 9 months is like, yeah, whatever. I like, get out of my face. If everybody from season 16 minus Kenya and, oh, you know what though? Season 16, they had Kenya and Britt Edie and oh, you know what? Now that makes sense. That would be the 2 missing cast members that they brought 2 more on for. Because my original thought was, well, they're going to have to let someone go because they're bringing in these 2 new housewives. But no, because there's no Britt Edie and there's no Kenya, so they don't have to let go of anyone. You know what? Demote Phaedra's ass to a friend of because even those 10 days that she was filming, it was like, ugh, go away. She kept on talking about Kelly being, like a little hobbit and whatever. Like, does she realize that she herself is a garden gnome? Does she realize that? And look, Cynthia, she was good as a friend, but I really didn't need her to be like the backup dancer. She was basically a filler a filler member. You know, like sometimes when you have a big scene and you just need to fill the room, that's what she was. She was like a filler person. But I want Drew to come back. I even want Kelly to come back. She's annoying, but she could be like the garden gnome replacement for Phaedra. So I would like Kelly to be back. I would like Drew. I definitely want Angela back because I am a Fangela. Porsha. You know what? I even want Shamia back. I would like to have Shamia back. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the streets of Atlanta are telling us, you know, with filming and all that other stuff. So what did you guys think of the season? Are we feeling it? Did we feel it? Or like, nah, this was a pass. Not much to talk about. You know, the two people who should have been there in the hot seats, they weren't. So we were left with this bullshit about like daycares and foreclosure buildings and whether or not they know Charles Oakley or don't know Charles Oakley or whatever. And yeah. Anyway, guys, that's it. That's all I have for you. Don't forget to hit the like, follow, subscribe, leave me a comment and all that good jazz. I'll check you guys out next time. Bye.